Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle, really looking at what is the purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As always, I've gone ahead and pulled the overall energy for the reading and clarified those messages, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I do have a different tarot deck that we'll be using for each side of this connection. Something that I've recently added to my readings is pulling an overall theme, so we'll also jump into that in just a second. And then I have the advice deck already shuffled that I will be using at the end in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, these energies can absolutely be swapped. So if you resonate more with the energy to my right than to my left, just know that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what resonates and helps your situation and leave what doesn't. All right, Scorpio, on your side of this connection, you have there are other priorities with the Strength in reverse. This is the way that you view them. So I kind of feel like they you never felt never felt or never did feel, whether this is a past connection or one that you're currently dealing with. I will say I have a tendency to pull past connections because my intention is the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now, which doesn't necessarily need to be someone that you're in an active connection with, just to clarify. But I feel as if this person never made you feel prioritized. And I ultimately feel like this connection, it affected your sense of self-worth quite a bit. You know, the Strength in reverse, it can be this feeling of almost like powerlessness. And I'm not saying that you are powerless or that you're not a powerful person, but I'm saying that in regard to this connection, there's something about their actions or the way that these energies connect that took away from that sense of power and confidence and self-assurance than it did actually add to that. And so we'll definitely dive more into what's going on there. Now, this person, they have pride keeps us apart with the Two of Pentacles in reverse. I feel as if their pride has really, really gotten in the way of things, and specifically in this connection with the Two of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like they're prioritizing their pride over love, which we've all done at some point or another. It doesn't necessarily make them a bad person. It just means that, you know, typically our pride, our ego is a form of protection. It's how we protect ourselves from getting hurt. And it's not necessarily an excuse, but it certainly is a reason. Now, in between this connection, the truth of this connection, you have second option with the Empress in reverse. I feel as if, and it goes back to kind of what you were dealing with over here, it feels as if you were treated a bit of were treated or are treated as an option in this connection. And there is a part of you that has had to sacrifice your worth or your needs or your desires in love in order to make this connection work. And anytime that you sacrifice an aspect of yourself for the sake of something else, that something else is not going to be sustainable, because anything that doesn't align with who we are, with our worth, with our value, is going to eventually leave our lives. It just isn't meant for us in the long run. Now, the overall energy for the reading is truth. So there's this need to see some sort of like deeper truth and deeper meaning in this connection than I feel like you've been able to so far, which will definitely, I mean, you have the truth of the connection here, but I feel like we'll definitely tap into that and just looking at each person's energy as well. So, all right, Scorpio. Let's take a look at your side of this connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. This is for Scorpio side of this connection. This is for Scorpio side of this connection. This is for Scorpio side of this connection, please. Scorpio side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Queen of Swords, Knight of Wands, Emperor in reverse. This Queen of Swords to me is someone who is very honest, very intentional with their words. And then coupled with the Knight of Wands here kind of being a card of vulnerability. I really feel like you have done or did do your best in this connection to be vulnerable and honest and authentic. Now, I feel like that when we're vulnerable and honest and authentic and we're met with still not being prioritized, it can feel as if we're not good enough. It can feel as if, oh, I put everything out there and I showed this person who I really was and I was vulnerable about my feelings and they didn't see my value or they didn't accept me or they didn't appreciate me for who I was. It can start to affect that sense of self-worth here. Now, you could be dealing, well, we have this air sign energy, so maybe an air sign. I feel this Queen of Swords is more you. Obviously, I know you're a water sign being a Scorpio, but I feel like you could be dealing with a earth sign, having the King of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You definitely don't have to be. But I feel like you were this, you were honest, you were vulnerable, and you were met with control because being vulnerable is a sense of letting go of control, right? When we are calculated with our words and our actions and our movements, and we're not just being 100% authentic, that typically means that we're trying to maintain control of the situation. And I kind of feel like that's what you were met with from this person, which makes sense because they do have this pride card here. Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. There's a lot about priorities. I mean, you have second option, which can options, priorities, there are other priorities. And then the Two of Pentacles in reverse is imbalanced priorities. So Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Okay. There is something in particular that you are needing to learn from this connection that aligns with this truth. This truth and this Hierophant have very similar energies. And I feel like it's something that can help you heal. A truth that can help you heal. And there's something that you're missing here. The Sun in reverse to me can be an energy of ego. Our ego tends to try to show us what it is that we want to see instead of what it is that we need to see. Or our ego can try and keep us stuck in unhealthy cycles because those cycles are predictable. Your ego loves predictability. It likes knowing exactly how things are going to play out. And I feel like your connection with this person, I feel like it messed with your ego here in a way. But that seems separate from this. So let's just keep going. But some deeper truth to this connection that's needing to be seen. This is Scorpio side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is for Scorpio side of this connection. Okay, yeah, because this is talking about a cycle. And I talked about how your ego can keep you stuck in unhealthy cycles. And there's something that needs to be seen, a truth that needs to be seen to break this cycle, because this cycle, it is affecting you on like a mental, potentially even physical level. It's affecting you in a very negative way. And I feel like it's a cycle of getting taken advantage of, being taken for granted with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, being taken for granted, not being, your value not being seen. Because this card to me is like a lack of gratitude. And I feel like the cycle is you feeling a lack of yeah, because there's Six of Pentacles in reverse. Sorry, I'll finish my sentence. The cycle is you feeling a lack of gratitude for who you are, for your value, feeling undervalued. And then with the Six of Pentacles in reverse, it just feels like no matter how much you gave to this or do give to this, you're not met with what it is that you give. This is a lack of reciprocation here. And this cycle, whether or not you realize it, has been happening in other areas of your life as well. And so this connection, and the reason that I feel like it has affected you on such a deep level, is because it's associated with a pretty deep-seated cycle. Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. This is for Scorpio side of this connection. Their immaturity led to your feelings of like betrayal or just this kind of painful energy here. It's like they have this immature kind of energy, and I could feel that. As soon as this Pride Keeps Us Apart card, I felt that in their energy. And then, adding on that Two of Pentacles in reverse, it's like, okay, I feel like they are dealing with a level of immaturity here, especially if you are dealing with an earth sign and they're coming out as the Page of Pentacles. I just feel like their immaturity has affected you greatly. And I feel like a lot of what's coming through here is this need to understand, because this connection has obviously affected your sense of self-worth, your sense of feeling, your sense of power within yourself. But I feel as if what's coming through, and what typically is the case, is that their lack of prioritizing you in this connection has way more to do with them than it does have anything to do with you. Because I feel like they are not at a place in their own life to be able to have the kind of connection that you were willing to give to. Like, they can't, people can only meet us where they are today, and people can only meet us to the extent that they've met themselves. People can only love us, respect us, care for us to the extent that they do all of those things for themselves first. Scorpio's side of this connection, and if they're not prioritizing the right things, then that has nothing to do with you. That's them. That's their battle. Scorpio side of this connection. It's interesting. Yeah, okay. Tower. Somebody walked away. Somebody walked away from this connection. This is not, because there's the death. Eight of Cups, Tower. I mean, that right there, that is an ending if I have ever seen one. Walking away, things falling apart, death, ending of a situation. And I feel like this is very difficult for you to handle, because I feel as if this didn't feel like you had a choice. Either this person walked away, which made you feel like you didn't have a choice, or you walked away because you felt like you didn't have a choice. Like you felt backed into a corner, like you had no other option to make. But with there's a Seven of Pentacles and Knight of Wands. I feel like this is very frustrating for you because of how much you invested in this. Because I do feel like you gave this everything you had here, Scorpio. or are currently giving it everything that you have, and it just feels like, I feel like this is a past connection, definitely one in separation. Um, whether that means you still live together, they're still in your lives, like emotional separation, emotional distance between these two energies. And I feel like things kind of falling apart here are, in a way, this is the catalyst to the end of a cycle in your life and ultimately in your relationships. So someone left this behind. Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with. Scorpio side of this connection to the person they are dealing with, please. One more. Scorpio side of this connection, please. Scorpio side of this connection, please. Page of Swords, Three of Wands in reverse. Okay, that's why I'm confused. These are upside down. Three of Wands, Page of Swords in reverse. Yeah, Empress in reverse, Lovers in reverse, Two of Wands in reverse, Strength in reverse, which we see the Strength in reverse there, the Empress in reverse there. So Six of Pentacles in reverse, which we've already talked about. There's the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, so we're definitely on the right track here. This connection, it pushes you, has pushed you very far out of your comfort zone. With this ending. This ending has pushed you very far out of your comfort zone. I feel like it's got you feeling lost, unsure, stuck, not knowing where to go next. And I feel like because of this connection, you've kind of lost excitement for life. Like this has affected you in a very deep level here, Scorpio. But then you have all of this energy. Not choosing yourself, not seeing your value, lack of, kind of feeling your power being taken away, lack of confidence, in the Two of Wands in reverse, which is an energy of it just not aligning with you. So the biggest thing that I feel this is saying is this ending is like a really good thing. It might not feel like that, and you might be very angry at me for saying that, if that's a triggering truth, but it actually feels like this ending of this connection is a positive. Because this is not good energy. This is not how a loving connection should make you feel. It shouldn't make you feel like you have to sacrifice your needs. It shouldn't make you feel unloved and unlovable. It shouldn't make you feel powerless. That's not what a healthy reciprocal connection does. A healthy reciprocal connection does the opposite. It adds to those positive feelings that already exist. It doesn't take away from them. No connection can be the source of our confidence and security and love for ourselves, absolutely, but it certainly shouldn't take away from that. It should make us feel good about yourself. Like that's what loving connection should do. That it should make you feel good about yourself. Now, there's a deeper lesson here, I feel like, in terms of why this connection was attracted into your life. There's always a reason, right? If you watch my channel long enough, you know there's always a reason. But before we hop on over to that truth, we're going to see what this person's is dealing with. This person's energy toward Scorpio, please. Pride keeps us apart, with the Two of Pentacles in reverse. This person's energy toward Scorpio, please. This person's energy toward Scorpio, please. This person's energy toward Scorpio. One more. This person's energy toward Scorpio. What does Scorpio need to know about this person's energy toward them? Oof. It's kind of a best way to say that, like a materialistic kind of energy. More concerned with appearances, material endeavors, outside success, as opposed to how they feel. Which I kind of feel is why they have this like pride. It's like they're prioritizing what makes them look good, not what makes them feel good. I'm not saying you don't like make them look good. That's not what I'm trying to say. It just feels like in general their priorities and what they invest in is this kind of materialistic sense of self. It's the part of their ego. It's the false sense of identity. I don't feel like, we've only pulled a message, but just kind of based on this energy right here, it doesn't feel like this person knows themselves very well. Oof. Get more before, if those cards are supposed to come out, they will. All right. This person's energy towards Scorpio, please. One more. This person's energy toward Scorpio, please. There's that King of Pentacles again, that Earth sign energy. This person's energy towards Scorpio, which you do not have to be dealing with an Earth sign. There's the Strength in reverse. Their need for control was the root of a lot of what made you feel. It feels like they didn't know how to what made you feel powerless. Sorry, I've got so much coming through. I'm not finishing sentences. It feels like they did whatever they could to maintain control over the connection and over the potential of them getting hurt. Even if this was a long-term connection, this is they never really let go. They were always 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It just doesn't feel like it was ever even if it didn't seem like that, though. Even if it didn't seem like they were 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It just feels like they never fully committed to this. Might have told you they did. You might have even gotten married to this person, but it just feels like on an emotional level, they never really prioritized this connection. This person's energy towards Scorpio. So this person is doing whatever they can to maintain control here. This person's energy towards Scorpio, please. So this person's pretty insecure, actually. And which makes plenty of sense here because you have this vulnerability, you showed up 100% authentic, 100% as yourself, and they don't know themselves, right? So that's going to trigger their insecurity, which then is going to make them feel even more insecure. And they're going to meet that with control, whatever they can do to regain control, because they don't like feeling insecure. So maybe they made you feel insecure. Maybe they tried to point out your flaws, or they took away from your power because they didn't like how your power made them feel powerless. So, and that's what's interesting, is they're being triggered of feeling powerless in this connection, then in turn made you feel powerless. And that's why it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. So their insecurities, and that's why they have this sense of pride, is I feel like they their pride, their ego is what they're trying to maintain. They're trying to maintain that illusion of who they are instead of actually facing who they really are. They're not a bad person, but they're certainly not a healed person. They're certainly not doing in themselves any favors. This person's energy toward Scorpio, please. This person's energy toward Scorpio, one more. This person's energy toward Scorpio, please. High Priestess in reverse. King of Swords in reverse. I don't like that. And Temperance in reverse. This connection is very frustrating for them. I don't feel like they... I feel like... Crosswatchers, bear with me if you're resonating with this energy. So let me say this and then explain it further. I feel like, Scorpio, talking to you now, the way you showed up in this connection, for whatever reason, was wildly triggering for this person. And so, because of that, I feel like they had to use manipulation or play games or whatever they could do to make themselves feel better. Now, I'm not necessarily saying this is happening on a conscious level. I don't think this person is going, wow, this person makes me really insecure. How can I make them feel insecure? I think that this person is in a state of reaction when it comes to how they interact with their reality, meaning something hurts, they don't know how to recognize that, they don't have the emotional awareness, so they just react. Whatever they need to do, they react. They yell, they manipulate, they play games, they are petty about it, whatever the case is. Passive aggressive almost. And I feel like their reaction to you, your vulnerability, you showing up in this connection, then to you is extremely triggering because you took it as, I'm not good enough, I'm not valued, I'm not, I'm not an option, I'm not a priority, or I'm not a priority, I'm an option. And in reality, their projection of their insecurities onto you became your burden. And that's why I feel like this connection affected your sense of value so much, is because it's more about, because we started this reading talking about your authenticity, your vulnerability, showing up in this connection, giving it everything you had from a place of open heart, open mind, vulnerability, right? This person doesn't know how to do that. And people, everyone is looking to love and be loved. Whether they are willing to admit it on a conscious level or not, all of our souls, all of our hearts are looking to love and be loved, to be accepted, to be loved for who we are. And but a lot of people don't know how to show up as who they really are. And I started this person's reading with saying they don't know who they really are. And I feel, Scorpio, as if you came into this knowing who you are, knowing what you want, knowing how to put that all out there, how to be vulnerable. And this person went, whoa, I don't understand. How are you doing that? That makes me feel weird because I don't know how to do that. I don't know who I am. And that trigger and their response to that trigger then came back at you as, they came back to you as like, you need to tone it down, you're too much, you're not good enough, I have all these other options. And I'm not necessarily saying they're saying these things, just through their actions and movements and choices and decisions. And then that ends up triggering you, making you feel powerless, making you feel less than who you are until you start to close off more and more, which makes it easier for this person to handle. Interesting. What a story. And I feel like that's the truth here. It's not that you don't have insecurities that need to be addressed. That's not what I'm saying. But this person's insecurities were the root of, I feel like, a lot of the issues in this connection. This person's energy toward Scorpio. This person's energy toward Scorpio. One more. This person's energy toward Scorpio, please. See, they're dealing with their own internal battle. The Five of Wands. They're dealing with their own internal fight with themselves. This isn't you against them against you. This is them against them, and they're projecting it as them against you. And I feel like that's where a lot of their mistreatment in this connection came from. Is it's almost like they were trying to fight this internal battle of not knowing themselves, of not feeling secure in who they are, of not liking who they are, but who they pretend to be, who they project themselves to be to the outward world. They don't like who they really are. They like who they appear to be. And so they have this internal battle going within. Whether or not they're consciously aware of it is beside the point. But they had this internal battle going on. You enter the picture. They start taking this internal battle and making you part of it. And that is where their priority is right now in their life. How can they protect themselves from feeling insecure, from feeling less than, from feeling not good enough, from feeling those negative feelings they have towards themselves? And you took on this person's internal battle and said, this is about me. But it's not about you. It was never about you. This has always been about them. Now, that doesn't mean there's not still lessons here. Why did you accept bare minimum treatment? Why did you allow yourself not to be a priority? All of the things that we talk about in a lot of my readings. But the biggest thing to recognize here is that this person made you feel powerless because you were too powerful for them. And that is not the way you see it. You feel like you weren't good enough for them. Maybe they moved on. Maybe they started dating someone else. Maybe they stopped, they weren't proud to. Again, they're doing whatever they can to maintain this image of their ego, of their pride, of their outside world, rather than facing that internal battle they have going on. They're not a bad person. I've been this person. I have a lot of empathy for this person. I am not saying that that's an excuse. I am not saying that their behavior is okay. What I am saying is that what they are dealing with and how it impacted you in this connection has everything to do with them and where they are at on their journey, and nothing to do with you. That doesn't make it hurt any less. Doesn't mean you should dismiss how you feel, but seeing those deeper truths can make it a hell of a lot easier to heal from. And that's the point. Understanding and learning, right, with the Hierophant and the truth, learning what you need to from this connection about you and the people that you attract into your life. That's going to be how you close the cycle, so that you learn what you need to learn so that you don't attract this energy into your life again. This person's energy towards Scorpio. It's like they're in a relationship with their ego. They're not in a relationship with their soul. 9 of Pentacles in reverse, 10 of Pentacles in reverse. We talked about this 10 of Pentacles in reverse for you, feeling undervalued. It's not that they didn't value you. It's that they're looking for distraction. They're looking for distraction from this internal battle. And if you show up, pushing them to have to feel these insecurities, to have to face the part of themselves they're not proud of, well, that's no longer a distraction, is it? And they're going to go try to find the next distraction somewhere else so they don't have to deal with those feelings that are being presented in this connection. So That's why you feel undervalued. It's not that they didn't value you. It's not that they, well, I don't think they did value you. I do think that they took you for granted, but it's not because you're not a valuable person or that you're not good enough. It's because they had to do whatever they could to protect themselves from the way that you made them feel. Now, this isn't all about them. There's things going on with you too, right? And that's funny because we did say their immaturity, and I do feel like they very much handled this in a very immature way, um, which is why this was so painful. But there is more to this, recognizing sometimes we have to take a look at the role that we have played in our own suffering. What red flags were ignored? What were you hoping for from this person that you probably knew pretty early on that they weren't able to provide? Um, were you looking at potential instead of looking at what is? There's deeper lessons there that are needing to be brought to the surface. But the biggest one here, Scorpio, is the first step here is recognizing that their mistreatment of you was not your fault. It was not something that you did. There was nothing you could have done differently for them to treat you differently. That's the other thing. In between this connection, you have second option with the Empress in reverse. We're going to hop on over to the extended, looking at what is the purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. I'm going to pull 9 different messages, and then I have an advice card to pull at the very end. Thank you so much, Scorpio, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Scorpio, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Scorpio.